Hi. Welcome to Movie Synopsis. When the movie begins and a girl named Giselle is shown. She reaches a gas station in the car and asks for some stuff from the store owner. The store owner asks her truth or dare. Hearing this, the girl starts weeping. She says, "I don't want to play this game further." Even then, he asked her again and again, truth or dare. Due to it, Giselle sets a girl on fire and also apologizes while doing this. But the girl dies because of being burnt. Then the scene shifts to a girl named Olivia. And she used to make videos for YouTube, and her best friend Markie arrives. She asks Olivia to go with her on vacation. Firstly, Olivia refused, but when Markie insisted, she agreed to go. Later, they move to Mexico with their other friends. They are shown enjoying themselves in Mexico, and Olivia meets a boy when they are in a bar. His name was Carter. They become friends. Meanwhile, Olivia's other friends arrive. Now they want to go to a place where they can do a party for a whole night. Because that bar was about to close, and Carter says, "I know a place where they can do a party for the whole night." Markie doesn't want to go with them. And she asks to go back to the hotel room, but Olivia makes her agree. Then Carter takes them to a deserted church, and they get shocked to see that place. Later, Olivia makes a selfie with all of them and they start playing truth or dare. Carter panicked when it was his turn. He tells, after choosing truth, "I have chosen Olivia as a target. And I called you here for playing a game because I was in search of a person with friends. He would come here easily, never I will call him." None understands what Carter said, so they consider it funny. Carter was leaving and Olivia tries to stop him. But he says this is a real game, and once you have participated, this game will not leave you. You will die if you will lie and will not complete the dare. Your death is confirmed if you will try to leave the game, so you have to follow all rules. Carter leaves after telling this, and Olivia doesn't take him seriously, but she doesn't find her friends. But then suddenly, her friends appear in front of her and they were looking terrible. This was just hallucination of Olivia. Then she finds her friends here and they were fine. Olivia gets scared here, so her friends take her from there. Now Olivia comes to the classroom for taking a class, in truth or dare was written on her table. She seems it strange, but she ignores it. Later, she finds some pamphlets when she reaches home. Truth or dare was written behind one of them. Olivia becomes surprised to see this, and Markie arrives when she was sitting in her room. Here we discover Markie's father has ended his life himself. And she was saying to Olivia, "There is only you after my father's death whom I can believe." Olivia says, "There is nothing like what you are thinking. I have no interest in your best friend. I consider him my brother." Markie believes Olivia and becomes happy, and when Olivia comes out, truth or dare was written on her car. Olivia becomes furious at the boys standing nearby because she thinks they have done this. She shouts at them, being furious, and then she reaches the library and finds everyone looking terrible. They surround her and compel her to choose truth or dare. And when they force her, Olivia chooses truth. Hearing it, they ask her together what secret her friend Markie is hiding from her. Olivia says Markie is cheating on her would-be husband Lucas. Markie and her friend Lucas also hear this, along with everyone who were there. Lucas becomes furious and was leaving from there. Markie also moves behind him for making him understand. Olivia apologizes to her while holding her hand, but Markie says, "Don't dare to touch me, I will break your hands." Olivia's friend is shown playing a pool game and trying to talk to a girl. But the girl was leaving. Then she changes in a strange way. She asks him truth or dare. And he chooses dare, and the girl asks him to do the dare, but when he couldn't complete it, he changes. He ends himself while falling from the pool table. His friends get scared seeing it, and Olivia is shown with her friends in the next scene. Olivia tries to make them understand about truth or dare. They consider it fun and they receive the video of their friend who died from the pool table. Olivia gets panicked and surprised as well to see all this and understand Carter said truth. Their friend died because of it, and Olivia tries to make her friend understand this. Lucas doesn't believe her and leaves. But Lucas hears a voice calling him towards him, and then he sees a wall painting. The painting was of truth or dare. It means he has to choose one from truth or dare. Lucas considered it a joke done by his friends, but then his hands start burning. And after some time, truth or dare was written on his arm. After it, he calls Olivia and tells her about it and says, "I always like you." Actually, he was revealing his truth while choosing truth. After it, Lucas reaches his friends and tells them about all this. Then Olivia shows them the selfie and tells this game is moving with this selfie sequence. Markie was still not believing on all this and she was considering it a lie. Suddenly, she receives a message and she has to choose truth or dare. Olivia asks her to reply and Markie chooses dare while obeying her. Then she was asked to break Olivia's hand to complete the dare. Markie wasn't ready for this, but Olivia takes this serious and forcefully breaks her hand with a hammer through Markie. They immediately take her to the hospital. And when Olivia's friend was taking out snacks, he feels an old man behind him. The old man was dead already, and when Olivia's friend turned to see, there was none. Suddenly, someone asks him to choose truth or dare. Hearing it, Olivia's friend doesn't understand anything and the old man attacks him. He holds his neck so he gets sacred and says truth. As he says this, the man disappears. Meanwhile, an officer arrives who was talking normally. But then his face changes and he asks Olivia's friend to tell the truth. That he is chosen, but Olivia's friend comes to his friends and tells them what happened to him. He tells the game forced me to tell my father the truth, that I am not a good boy. We notice Olivia's friend is feeling good after telling all this. He was happy and they discover the next turn is of their male friend while seeing the selfie. They message him after seeing it, but he was in an interview so he ignores their messages. His friends reach there when he was in the interview. And they see their friend is coming out, but then he remembers he has forgotten his bag inside. He moves to the cabin for bringing his bag and the lady closes the door. Meanwhile, her face changes. Then she asks Olivia's friend to choose truth or dare. He chooses truth, but says a lie due to it. His face also changes. Then he hurts his eye with the pen while stabbing it. And he dies badly. His friends get scared seeing this, and when they reach home, Markie says Carter has started all this. And he is the one who can end all this. Olivia tries to search him online. But it was useless and Markie searches for truth or dare and discovers Giselle. She finds the video clip we have seen at the start of the movie in which she burnt the girl. They start checking Giselle's profile. And they find Carter in her selfie and they text Giselle while making a fake account. They ask her to meet as the police are also in search of her. Olivia's female friend is shown who was also asked to choose truth or dare. She chooses truth, but the game forbids her and says this game doesn't work like this. If two people have chosen truth, the next person must choose dare. Markie asks everyone to go out of the house to check and they discover their friend got a dare forcefully. The dare was she will move around the roof until the bottle finishes. That's why now they try to save their friend. They walk with her while lifting a mattress. So she will fall on the mattress and she will not get any harm. There was a gate on the way having sharp rods on it. Olivia breaks the door with the help of the car. During this, their friend was about to fall on the car. They placed the mattress on the car and she escaped because she falls on it. At the same time, Olivia receives Giselle's message and she was calling them to meet and they go to meet her. Meanwhile, Giselle arrives to them but she was scared. And when they ask her about Carter she says he was our friend. The game has given her the dare to trap others in the game. That's why he was compelled to do this and trapped you. During this, Giselle apologizes to Olivia and takes her name. But Olivia gets scared and surprised because she didn't tell her name. Meanwhile, Giselle tries to shoot Olivia for ending her. But Olivia's friends catches her. Actually, Giselle got the dare to end Olivia. Now because of not completing her dare her face changes. And she ends herself while shooting and they become astonished to see this. They get scared and then Olivia reaches a detective with her friends. She tells him everything about how her friends died because of this game truth or dare. Hearing this, the detective forbids them to go out of the city. In the next scene, the game gives dare to Markie's friend to live with Olivia. Markie becomes furious hearing this and leaves from there. Later, Olivia and Lucas move to complete their dare. Lucas searches online and finds an old survivor. She was a nun and somehow escaped from this game. So they go to her home for meeting her but discover she doesn't talk to anyone. Means she can't speak. They request her and tell their problem, and the lady tells them the mission of the game by writing it. They discover someone has called a demon through this game. This game has been possessed by the demon. It can even possess people, locations, and even people's ideas. This lady and her friends were the first who played this game. This demon has made her into a priest. The lady tells the person who releases the demon that only he can imprison it. The lady gives them a spell to read on the demon 7 times and gives them a soil pot. Seeing the pot, Olivia remembers they have seen this pot in the church. It was broken, and the lady tells them they have to sacrifice their tongue while saying the spells. Due to this, the demon will be again imprisoned in this soil pot. Here we discover the lady also can't speak because she also has sacrificed her tongue. They have no idea who has broken that soil pot with which the demon was released. During this, Olivia remembers Giselle has told them about a girl who maybe has broken this soil pot. She has released the demon, and during this, the officer arrives and takes Olivia's friend with him for talking to him. Then Olivia calls Markie and discover Markie and Lucas both have chosen truth. That's why the next is the turn of their friend who went out. He will also be given a dare. Then Olivia's friend is shown whose turn is now and who was taken by the officer. While talking to the officer, the game gives him the dare to compel the officer to beg for his life. When he tries to do this while taking out his gun, another officer reaches and ends him. Meanwhile, Olivia and Lucas arrive and get scared to see this. They reach Markie and the game asks Olivia to choose truth or dare. Olivia chooses truth, and the game asks Olivia to tell the secret to Markie she has hidden until now. She gets scared to hear this, but then she reveals her secret in front of Markie. She tells she was with her father when he took his life, and I know what happened there. She tells I went to your home after getting angry with my parents. But your father misbehaved with me because he was drunk. He couldn't bear this when he came into his sense, so he ended himself. Markie becomes depressed after knowing this and leaves from there. Olivia goes to the detective where she discovers only 4 people left from this game, in which there are Olivia, Markie, Lucas, and one of Giselle's friend. He is still there, and Olivia becomes surprised to hear the name of Giselle's friend. The detective shows him his picture, and he was none other than Carter. Olivia asks about him from the detective and discovers he is living in an apartment. Giselle lied to them because she wants to save her friend. Later, Markie is shown, and Olivia goes to her and finds her ending herself, but Olivia stops her while telling her about Carter. They reach his apartment and he gets scared to see them. He got disappointed and lost his courage, but Olivia says, "Don't be worried, we can escape." She says, "You are the human who can end this game." Hearing this, Carter thinks maybe they are lying to him. He starts beating them, but Olivia takes him at the gunpoint and warns him to end him. Now Carter gets ready to move with them. They reach the church and Olivia asks him to read those spells 7 times. During this, the game gives a dare to Lucas to end one of them. But he doesn't want this, so he moves far from them. Carter reads those spells 7 times and Olivia asks him to cut his tongue. Carter forbids him to do this, but Olivia warns him to end him while shooting him. She makes him understand if he wants to stay alive, he has to do this. Lucas failed to complete his dare, so the game demon took possession of him. It tries to end him. Olivia and Markie hold him, and when Carter was cutting his tongue, Lucas holds him. He ends him. Later, he cuts his neck and dies there. Olivia and Markie also become depressed because their best friend also died as well. Meanwhile, the game asks Markie to choose truth or dare. Markie chooses dare, and the demon asks Markie to shoot Olivia with the gun. Unwillingly, Markie shoots at her shoulder and she was possessed, so Olivia says, "You are now a part of this game." Because you are in Markie's body right now and ask it to choose truth or dare. The demon chooses truth and Olivia asks how can we escape alive from this game? The demon says now you can't escape. Because only Carter can do this. He is dead now, so you have only a way to trap the people in the game and compel them to play this game. Or you will be ended now, this is your decision. The scene changes and Olivia and Markie are shown escaped from there. As Olivia has told everyone about this game through her YouTube channel. Due to it, the people who watched the game are now a part of this game. The movie ends with this scene. Thank you for watching.